Welcome to the Andrew and Erna Viterbi Faculty of Electrical Engineering, as it is now proudly called. As you have seen in the exhibition, times have changed. Among the many differences in the passage of time is that in those ancient times there were no cell phones. This is a gentle reminder to now put your cell phones on silent. I now have the pleasure to invite Professor Peretz Lavi, President of the Technion, to greet us.
Andrew Viterbi, Alan and Karen Viterbi, members of the Technion management, Dean Orda, and members of the Andrew and Erna Viterbi Faculty of Electrical Engineering, academic and administrative staff, students, and alumni, dear guests. One of the divine pleasures of being a president of the Technion is not only getting to know and work with some of the greatest men and women of our generation, brilliant visionaries, innovators, philanthropists, and leaders, but to publicly thank and honor them for their contributions to the Technion, to Israel, and to humanity. Such is my unique privilege today. But I must admit, talking about Andrew Viterbi presents a special challenge. The proverbial embarrassment of riches. Do I talk about the brilliant scientist and engineer who made fundamental contribution to Wi-Fi, 3G, cellular and digital satellite communications, speech recognition, DNA analysis, or about the entrepreneur who co-founded Qualcomm, or about the devoted professor who invented one of the most important mathematical concepts of the 20th century, the Viterbi algorithm, and did it not for the fame or fortune, but to help explain a difficult concept to his students. Do I dwell on Andrew Viterbi, the proud Jew and Zionist, on his love affair with Israel, the Technion, and our Faculty of Electrical Engineering? This goes back now for nearly half a century. On these decades of leadership in the American Technion Society and support for the Technion, culminating in the transformational gift we are celebrating today, yes, I could talk about all these things and many more, but today I'd prefer to talk about family. When Andrew was awarded the Medal of Honor of the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers in 2010, the organization published a profile on him and made an interesting observation. The ranks of first-rate inventors are chock full of characters who are brash, egotistical, and temperamental. So meeting Andrew J. Viterbi can be something of a shock. He speaks softly, responds patiently. He looks like someone's grandfather. This is exactly right. Because throughout his inspiring life journey, from a young boy fleeing fascist Italy with his family, to the devoted professor, to the famed and decorated innovator and tech giant, Andrew has always been a man of a family. There is a blood family, your son, Alan, his wife, Karen, who are here with us today, your daughter, Audrey, and your late son, Alex, and your 5 grandchildren. And there is your family here at the Technion, and in the faculty you are naming today, the faculty that is your home away from home. But above all, there was your beloved wife, Erna, with whom you created so much love and so much good. When the Technion awarded you with an honorary doctor in 2000, you said it yourself. As a father and grandfather, I am committed to the continuity of our Jewish heritage. By endowing our Technion chair, Erna and I are establishing a valuable family tradition of dedication to Israel's future through support of its brain power. Andrew, I know how much you loved Erna and cherish her memory. So we are deeply gratified, not only that both of your names will forever be associated with our great faculty, but also that you have given us the opportunity to pay special tribute to Erna by dedicating the Erna Finci Viterbi Memorial Plaza later this morning. In the Jewish tradition, Hanukkah is the ultimate family holiday. For 8 days, Jewish families in Israel and throughout the world gather each evening around the Chanukiah. We light candles, sing Maoz Tzur, and of course eat sufganiyot and latkes, and reflect on miracles, on freedom and on light. It is so fitting then that this Hanukkah we celebrate such a joyous moment together, the Viterbi family, the Technion family, and the family of Andrew and Erna, Faculty of Electrical Engineering. And we can truly say, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Thank you.
Now, let me please switch roles and rather than being your master of ceremonies, address you as the Dean of Electrical Engineering. Distinguished Professor Viterbi, dear Alan and Karin, Professor Peretz Lavi, President of the Technion, Gidon Frank, Chairman of the Council, Vice Presidents, Deans and colleagues, dear friends. It has been our faculty's honor and privilege to develop a unique partnership with you, Professor Viterbi, over almost 50 years, and to benefit from your wisdom and vision in science and technology. This partnership has been a vital ingredient for our success. We are indebted for all that you have done for our faculty, the Technion, and the State of Israel over so many years. This partnership, culminating in the Viterbi family's extraordinary gift, will have a tremendous impact on the Technion and the State of Israel for years to come. We have been consistently ranked among the top 10 electrical and computer engineering departments. This has been reaffirmed by several international review committees, the first chaired by you, Professor Viterbi, and the most recent one being chaired by the current president of the MIT. Moreover, the iconic startup nation emerged directly out of our faculty. We provide the academic backbone of the world-renowned Israeli high-tech and defense industry. More than 1,600 companies have been founded or managed by Technion alumni during the last 20 years. Of these, some 35% are graduates of Technion's electrical engineering. To accomplish such a major impact on Israel's high-tech defense and economy and response to national demands, electrical engineering has traditionally been the largest academic unit of the Technion. The current number of students is over 2,000, and the Council for Higher Education has issued a call to further increase this number. Moreover, in order to keep a leadership position, we have to embark upon rapidly developing frontiers of electronics, computers, and communications. All of these have stretched the collective capabilities of an academic unit with a relatively small number of faculty members to the limit. The extraordinary generous gift of the Viterbi family will secure the ability of our faculty to continue being a center of academic excellence while fulfilling our vital role in the security and prosperity of the State of Israel. Moreover, this gift paves the way to new horizons and higher attainable levels of scientific and technological achievements. Professor Viterbi, you have granted us yet an additional gift, one that cannot be quantified, yet its value is certainly just as significant. I refer here to the great privilege to bear your name within our title. It is a rare combination for an academic unit to be affiliated with the name of a visionary scientific and technological giant while teaching his scientific contributions in advanced courses of its curriculum. You and your wife, the late Erna Finci Viterbi, have been our dear friends and devoted supporters for many years. Those that got to know Erna well always praise her fascinating personality, charm, passion, and very deep feelings towards the Jewish people, the State of Israel, the Technion, and our faculty. Erna's memory shall always stay with us, and now also by having her name engraved in our title. These days we celebrate Hanukkah, a holiday that is associated with a miracle, a small jug of uncontaminated oil, which was supposed to last for just one day, lasted for 8 days, just in time to prepare more consecrated oil. Recently, the Andrew and Erna Viterbi Faculty of Electrical Engineering has also received a jug of oil, and this jug is not at all a small one. Yet it needs to light our candles for more than 1 day and more than 8 days, way, way more. The late Israeli satirist Ephraim Kishon once said that Israel is, I quote, a country where nobody expects miracles, but everyone takes them for granted, end of quote. Dear Andrew, Alan, and Karin, please rest assured that my colleagues and I shall neither expect nor rely on miracles, but rather make every effort to ensure that the exceptional jug of oil that you granted us shall let the menorah of the Andrew and Erna Viterbi Faculty of Electrical Engineering shine for many decades and generations to come and serve as one of Israel's illuminating Or Lagoim. Thank you, dear Andrew and the Viterbi family. Yishar koach to you, and Chag Urim Sameach to all of us. Thank you. And now back to my role as the Master of Ceremony. I now have pleasure in reading a greeting from the Minister of Education, Mr. Naftali Bennett. Dear Dr. Viterbi, I'm delighted to join the Technion family in thanking you for your monumental contribution to the Faculty of Electrical Engineering. It is impossible to imagine Israel's transformation into a world leader in science, technology, and innovation without the Technion, and in particular the researchers, students, and alumni of its Faculty of Electrical Engineering. Your gift will ensure that the newly named Andrew and Erna Viterbi Faculty of Electrical Engineering will continue to be a center of world-class research and education, providing Israel with future generations of engineers and scientists at the forefront of our dynamic, high-tech economy. It is profoundly inspiring that you, a brilliant and devoted son of the Jewish people, who has himself made such important contributions to scientific and technological progress, should associate himself in such a magnificent way with the State of Israel and one of its great institutions, the Technion. You have my heartfelt thanks and gratitude. Sincerely, Naftali Bennett. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Zohar Zisapel, graduate of our faculty from 1970. Zohar has founded the Rad Binat Group together with his brother Yuda in 1981. Yuda is also our graduate, class of 1966. Together, they started 28 companies, of which 8 went public on NASDAQ and 10 were sold. Rad is today a group of 10 companies with aggregate sales of over $1 billion in 2014. In the last several years, Zohar has played the role of an angel investor as well as entrepreneur and invested in a dozen startups in cybersecurity and medical devices. So as you've understood, Zohar Zisapel is one of Israel's most successful entrepreneurs. Zohar, please.
Good morning. I'd like to tell you my personal experience of meetings with Andrew Viterbi, and let me say that. First meeting with Viterbi I had in the early 70s. Not the person, the algorithm, for me it was amazing. Such an elegant thing, ingenious. It transformed, I was in coding, and it transformed everything I studied in coding before that. Everything I studied in block coding was gone away. Then in the end of the 70s, I met Viterbi flesh and blood. Andy probably doesn't remember it. I do very much. For me, it was a great excitement. I was meeting a legend, And we met at the hotel lobby. I was then managing the famous intelligence unit, which most of the electrical engineering faculty were on reserve duty in that unit, so many of them know it very well. And I had some fundamental question about analog versus digital communication. Okay, I will not bore you with the details simply because you'll think it's ridiculous. You'll find it ridiculous. By the way, at the time it was not, and Andy certainly didn't find it. On the contrary, he was very helpful. He was patient. He was modest. You know, it was such, he is soft-spoken, right? And he listened very carefully, and he helped me a lot, you know, kind of, divrei chachamim benachat nishmaim. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it in English. Then we all know, by the way, many of you may not know that the Viterbi algorithm was never patented. Thank you, Andy, for that. Professor Viterbi also founded Qualcomm, as many of you know, and played a major role in developing CDMA, which is actually the basis of all what we are using now in cellular phones. 3G, 4G, 5G to come are all based on that. And next meeting, well, I had many meetings with Andrew since, but the next one I want to tell you about is we participated together in a committee to evaluate the electrical engineering in Israel under the leadership of Professor Jacob Ziv, by the way. And we had a very embarrassing incident there. And the embarrassing incident was because Andrew is such a low-key, soft-spoken person. And he asked a question in one of the colleges, and the response from one of the young lecturers there was, what do you understand about communication? He was asking. I don't know if Andy remembers that one. Well, many people think that Andy knows a lot about communication. IEEE Medal of Honor, Claude Shannon Award, Marconi Prize, Alexander Graham Bell Medal, Benjamin Franklin Medal, National Medal of, that's American National Medal of Science and Mathematics, and very soon to come the Technion Medal. Okay, so, and many, by the way, everyone I mentioned here are all the fathers of communication. So I think, finish up by saying that I think it is a great honor for the Technion Faculty of Electrical Engineering to bear the name of Professor Andy Viterbi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zohar. The Technion Medal is the highest honor that the Technion can confer on an individual. It is reserved for those deserving of the greatest praise. Today, we confer that honor on distinguished visiting Professor Andrew Viterbi. I now invite Professor Peretz Lavi, President of the Technion, Professor Moshe Sidi, Senior Executive Vice President, and our honoree, Professor Viterbi, to the stage. I now ask Professor Sidi to read the citation.
The Technion Medal is awarded to Dr. Andrew J. Viterbi in recognition of your decades-long devotion to the Technion as a distinguished visiting professor, imparting your pioneering insights, in gratitude for your support of graduate students, postdoctoral scholars, and the recruitment of new faculty members, and with appreciation for your transformational gift to the Faculty of Electrical Engineering, which will secure and enhance the Technion's leadership position in electrical and computer engineering in Israel and globally, and will ensure that the high-tech innovation that is vital to Israel's economy and defense continues for generations to come.
Professor Lavi, may I now ask you to present the medal to Professor Viterbi. It is now my great honor and pleasure to ask Professor Viterbi to address us.
Thank you, President Levy, Dean Orda, all the presidents emeriti that I've had the pleasure of knowing over the decades, and of course, all the faculty, the students, the colleagues, the friends. Thank you all for coming today. To say that I'm overwhelmed is an understatement, and so many things were said that leaves me relatively little to say, other than there was a little bit of exaggeration about me, but okay, I'll accept it. Before I begin my remarks, I would like to remember that when I first spoke of my and my family's gift and my connection of nearly half a century with the Technion and its electrical engineering department, I mentioned Moshe Zakai. Sadly, Moshe Zakai passed away just about a week ago. At the time that I first came to Technion in 1967, he was the dean of the faculty of electrical engineering. And I say that he was a prominent leader in the modernization of the department and led to its rise to the highest ranks of electrical engineering departments worldwide. Beloved by all, the faculty and students bestowed on him the ultimate title of Moshe Rabbeinu. He was my friend and will be deeply missed. May his memory be a blessing. In my comments of last spring, I spoke of why Erna and I chose to make the gift to the Technion, but I did not emphasize enough my particular attachment to the electrical engineering department. Part of this, of course, was due to my experience of nearly 6 decades as an electrical engineer. And I think this permits me a little bit of chauvinism. And I'd like to say a few things about electrical engineering in the context of engineering and science in general, and not demeaning any of the other disciplines. I'd like to comment that it's the most flexible of specialties. And in saying that, I'd like to mention a couple of cases. Back in the 1960s, when I was young, and along with many friends like Jacob Ziv and Bar David, we concerned ourselves with the subjects of communication control and signal processing. And in so doing, we applied a lot of mathematics. And some of our cohorts went all the way and became pure mathematicians and joined math departments. Feed forward about half a century, and towards the end of the 20th century and into the 21st, biology became the most productive field as a result of the discovery of the double helix and the listing of the genome. So what do electrical engineers do today? They work in bioinformatics, they find new proteins, and they prove them effective in the laboratory, side by side with biologists. Just as before, they were side by side with mathematicians and other theorists. But perhaps the most important contribution of the electrical engineering profession has been the creation of the tool essential for both science and applications to consumer devices, and that is the computer. And without the computer, you wouldn't have all the wonderful toys, including the cell phone that you have today. So how did this come about? Well, it came about by collaboration by electrical engineers with solid-state physicists, with chemists, chemical engineers, and also mathematicians. And all together, they formed teams, which today is called computer science. But is it really computer science, or is it computer electrical engineering? So all this leads me to believe that electrical engineering has led the scientific and engineering community to lower the silos, to break down the barriers between fields. And it's becoming, I would predict that in another 50 years, you'll have researchers who will follow their passion and will learn as they go from whatever field that they need. And this perhaps will have been the greatest contribution of the electrical engineering profession. So I am most proud of being an electrical engineer and having the electrical engineering department in one of the world's great universities named after me and my beloved late wife, Edna. Thank you. Three standing ovations is a record for me.